couple of council members absent, so now that the rest of us are here, call to order the January 21st meeting of the City of West Sacramento City Council, the West Sacramento Redevelopment Agency and Finance Authority. We will begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we live, work, learn, and commune is the original homelands of the indigenous people of West Sacramento who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We acknowledge and we thank the original inhabitants who have occupied, maintained, and secured this place, and who still exist on this land. We respect and celebrate the many diverse indigenous people still connected to this land on which we gather. The council met in closed session this evening. Mr. City Attorney, can you present any updates?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The council did meet in closed session for the items listed on the agenda. No reportable action was taken.
Right. And we would like to invite our guests to join council and staff in the pledge. Our Fire Marshal, Brian Johnson, can you please lead us in the pledge tonight? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, one nation, indivisible. As is noted on the agenda, council is prohibited by state law from discussing or taking any action on items that are brought up under public comment. Item 1, we are going to make a change in today's agenda process, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but I'm going to continue to give you a little more background. This is an important opportunity for a public forum. The public is given an opportunity at this time, which will take place after another agenda item, to address the City Council on issues not listed on the agenda. And we do ask that anyone wishing to address the council on this or any other agenda item to please fill out a request to speak card and return it to the clerk. If you have not, you will not be acknowledged and you cannot come up. We accept the request to speak cards to the up to the conclusion of the reading of the staff report on any particular agenda item. Once the staff report has been read and we open the item up for public comment, the clerk will announce your name for you to walk to the podium to speak. Now, in front of the clerk, there is a timer to ensure that everyone has had a chance to be heard. We ask that all comments be limited to a specified number of minutes. Also in front of the clerk is an analog flip chart, which indicates which agenda item the council is currently considering. We also recognize that for some, speaking in public can cause anxiety, so we request that there be no applause or boos, catcalls, or other demonstrations. Furthermore, so that we may maintain a civil discourse here in the chambers, we ask that those in attendance and those who address the City Council abide by the Code of Conduct posted and not speak in loud, threatening, offensive, abusive, or other disrespectful language that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. We have made some changes to how we can cease for those that are speaking that are disruptive, and we will allow the clerk to turn off the mic. And once I gavel down, asking for the disturbance to be stopped. We also would like to add that if there's anybody that has a special need or a disability, to please give us 72 hours notice. Given that it's sometimes very difficult to understand that, I will make an accommodation if it's, nobody's as aware for the one time. But if I recognize that you're coming back and not providing the 72 hours, I will ask that you not, present, and or we can work something out. I will try to work that out. So with council's approval, I would like to bring up agenda item 22 now, which is a request by Councilmember Alcala to include an item on a future City Council meeting agenda, Three Sisters Garden, LLC lease at 5th and C Streets. And Councilmember Alcala will provide a little bit of background, and then we'll open it up for public comment. Madam Clerk, can you just, for that agenda item, can you pull those up so we'll ask people to speak if they're anybody interested in speaking? And anybody under public comment who wants to speak about that, can you please come up on this item? All right, Councilmember.
Okay, thank you. So the main part of my request is to have staff present options for a long-term lease with Three Sisters Gardens for the 5th and C Street property so that they can pursue building improvements and expand their programming. I'd also like staff to take this opportunity to review how the city can support our nonprofits in general, whether it's through use of city properties or direct funding with grants. Three Sisters Gardens has this specific request, but as we consider options for it, we should also be mindful of how we can offer similar support for our local nonprofits that serve our community so well.
Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
Nobody submitted a card with this number on it, but there may be people that wanted to speak on this
Are
item.
there any requests to speak about this item? Okay. And did you all submit a card? Okay. If you did not submit a card, you will not be able to speak even under public comment, by the way. If you want to submit a card while the speaker is coming, you can do that now, but you do need to go get a card. And the speaker who did submit a card? Under,
I'm going to call Alfred Melbourne since I know he wants to speak
okay,
on
go
this
ahead,
item.
Alfred. And you each have 3 minutes? Your mic's not on. Hold on. There you go.
Thank you. My name is Alfred Melbourne, a longtime community member here in West Sacramento, Broderick, and it's been a pleasure to be able to work with the community and was able to found and open Three Sisters Gardens in 2018 to be able to support the at potential high promise youth in our community. And since then, we've been able to do a good job to provide pathways to urban agriculture and farming in general for youth in our community. But at the same time, we've been able to grow thousands of pounds of nutrient-dense organic vegetables, you know, right here in the community to give away to the community. So, you know, there couldn't be, you know, a greater task to be able to teach our youth valuable knowledge in how to reconnect with the land and, you know, producing vegetables in a way that, you know, is really significant. But truth be told, it would be way more conducive to teach our youth in a space that's going to be out of the elements and have all the different you know, things that we'll need to be able to store our food and preserve our food and you know, create the space that's going to be more open, inviting to, you know, our public and guests that we have coming from far. So the ability to be able to upgrade the site and make the changes necessary to, you know, make that happen does require us to have a long-term lease. And we've been very grateful for the opportunity to work with the city, but it just takes a little bit more of a commitment so that we can continue to do the good work and not have to, you know, feel pressure, but having support from the city, city manager's office, mayor, and all our council to be able to teach our future leaders, you know, how to grow food and take care of themselves. And but it's much more than that. You know, we're opening doors and creating other opportunities for them because other services in this community that, you know, we can't provide, we're able to hand off and work with our partner agencies like YCCA, Mercy Coalition, or Mosaic Village, and different orgs. But yeah, it's our goal to be able to, you know, expand the site and do a lot more with it so that we could continue doing the great work. But thankful for Martha and Norma Alcala for putting this forward. Support from the mayor, and we hope from, you know, the rest of our council as well. So thank you, guys.
Kimberly Cargill.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for working together with Three Sisters Garden to provide a place for the children of the community to learn how to grow gardens. This is one of the most valuable resources we have in West Sacramento. And with the times as they are, the future is dependent upon us teaching our children how to grow their own food. It's a very valuable resource here, and we're thankful to have them. And I've heard only good things about them. So I'm here tonight to support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you.
Haley Moore.
Hello, my name is Haley Moore, and I'm here to support Three Sisters Gardens. I'm a volunteer at their garden. I also have a background in sustainable agriculture and plant-based nutrition. And I think that if they did have a more of a concrete structure, it'd be nice to be able to volunteer and educate children and adults on gardening and the importance of nutrition. Of course, that's important. Also, my mom is retired, and she is part of their food program where she receives free vegetables every week. She comes in on Fridays and gets veggies. I just really appreciate the garden. I also feel like it's a very valuable part of our community, and I'm that this has come up so they can continue their lease. Thank you.
Matt Weaver.
I always thought the public comment on items not on the agenda came first. I think I come here almost as much as the people who work here and got voted to be here, but I'm here to speak on this matter because I think this matter, you're just asking to put something on the agenda. You're not asking us what we think about it. Can I have clarity on that? Is that what this matter is?
Go ahead.
Who would I address to ask that
Just to be
question?
clear, so normally this item on the agenda appears at the end of the agenda, and it's an opportunity for the council with advance notice to request a future item for council consideration at a later meeting. In this case, we thought there would be, as is showing, there would be several speakers, and so as a courtesy, we suggested the mayor obliged to move this item up to the front of the agenda. The regular time to address matters not on the agenda but still within the jurisdiction of the council will follow this item. So if you have a speaker card in for item 1A, that's coming next.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I understood the sequence thing because I'm becoming a student of this thing. So should you put it on the agenda, yes or no? I'm going to spend 1 minute and 54 seconds talking about whether you should put something on the agenda or not. And we're going to have 10 more people come to the meeting that weren't at the meeting last year. This room was full of people who wanted to lift this issue to the city. Unfortunately, the behavior was abhorrent of the adults in the room. The youth were just should be applauded. But this is the first time I've ever seen anything move to be put on the agenda. So for God's sakes, yes, I support putting something on the agenda that the people want to see on the agenda. I could spend another 1 minute and 19 seconds to say it shouldn't be this freaking hard to get something on the agenda. Because on the public comments about matters not on the agenda, I've been speaking week after week after week, and no one's moved to put that on the agenda. So if it takes all the kids in town talking about the food that they put in the community, and it takes all these voices to get something on the agenda, and then it takes having public comment to whether or not you should put something on the agenda, the answer is, why aren't you asking the people what they want to see on the agenda from the city council more often? And why should this be such a freak of nature event that even I have never seen this done? I am in support of adding it to the agenda and can't wait to hear public comment in the eventuality that you support it being put on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Juan Gutierrez.
Good evening. My name is Juan Gutierrez, and I'm here to speak regarding carport.
Oh, Juan,
Um,
that would be under public comment. That's not on the agenda.
No, I know it's not on the agenda.
Oh,
Sorry, his got mixed in with.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry, just to clarify. So you'll have a chance on the next item.
On the
on
next item.
1A.
All
Sorry
right,
for the
thank you.
confusion on that. So again, this part is only for the future item request involving the Three Sisters Garden lease. So if you're here to speak for that, you'll be called.
We have no additional requests to speak on this item.
all right, bringing it back, closing public comment, bringing it back to council. Is there any other comment, questions, or? we
Yeah,
take a
I
vote?
have some comments.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation we need to have, but I think we need to take a step back, and it's more than just the lease itself. It's that parcel, the history of the parcel, how we got here. And so I'd like to ask staff, this did come back in the agenda, what would it look like? Would we have that information? Because I think there's a lot to unpack in this that not everybody has all the data to.
Yeah, it's just my read of the the direction that is being sought, and I think Councilmember Alcala summarized it well in terms of it starts with the essential question of the Fifth and C property and the status of the lease, what Three Sisters Gardens' ultimate goals are with that property, and like you said, looking not just at the history of the property and the intent behind the urban farming program, but also a larger question of the city has many other properties that could be put to use by nonprofit causes. What are we doing there? Do we need to have more of a formal policy discussion? So that's part of it. We would absolutely bring back those issues with a focus on the Fifth and C property. There's also issues that are related to when the city does a lease or a property transaction. There's things like surplus land act considerations that need to be looked at. So we want to give a clear picture to the council about what the options are for the lease, but also what the process would need to be like should there be support for it. I think within that, what we'd also suggest is the council has a strategic plan priority kind of centered around resource support for nonprofits, not just in terms of use of property, but also there was a desire as part of the last strategic planning session to explore actually having a grant program for local nonprofits. So my goal would be we would package all of that and bring it back as feasibly soon as possible to deal with the primary issue that Councilor Alcala is raising, but also some of the other issues that you just brought up.
All right. And with that, I'll accept a motion.
So moved. I'll second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Councilmember Alcala moved, and Councilmember Sulpicio, Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall seconded. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. This item is approved. We'll see you on the agenda. Okay. Next, we have item 1, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the council. Each person has 3 minutes. We'll have Juan come back up, please. Juan, we'll let you come back to the podium. Now you can speak now.
Thank you. Okay, good evening. Again, my name is Juan Gutierrez, and I'm here to speak about carports. My understanding from city staff, that 36 residents were ordered to remove their carport. And for some reason, some people think that state law outlaws carports, but they do not. State law only provides for the construction of carports. It's up to the local jurisdiction to determine under what conditions carports are to be erected within the jurisdiction. In this case, the city of West Sacramento. Specifically, I went to the law library in Sacramento, and I talked to the librarian there who assisted me in doing the research. And apparently, the requirements for carports are found in Title 25 of the California Code of Regulations, specifically Section 1478, which merely describes how carports should be constructed. And it leaves it up to the local jurisdiction to determine if they are to be allowed. In West Sacramento, the city ordinances prohibit carports over driveways in a home. And that's why 36 residents were ordered to remove their carports in the last couple of months. And I would request that the city council amend the city code to allow residents to have carports. That's it.
Thank you, Juan. Madam Clerk, any other requests to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Matt Weaver?
Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you very much, Council. I feel like I'm officially a regular.
I know, I
And a
feel
broken
that way
record,
too.
broken record. But with that said, I know there's other people going to speak on something I've come to speak to the council about. It was a strategic imperative of the council a few years back. And here we are in 2026. There'll be lots of public comment on something I've called out repeatedly. Obviously, I'm not speaking to hear myself speak. I could do that anywhere. I'm doing that to bring it to my city leaders who haven't done much with it. retail cannabis dispensaries were approved as a strategic imperative. And like so many things, whether it's carports or getting something on the agenda, even our little town of 67,000 can show how incapable government can be when it wants to be. Getting something on the agenda gets to be so difficult. Getting the council's strategic imperatives becomes so difficult. I'm a property owner who's had 2 LOIs, leases, and offers to buy my property from people who've been circling West Sacramento, saying, hey, this would be a great place to open a dispensary. That's what made me vested in this conversation for the last few years. And I've watched the city just do what they're doing, right? Whether it's carports, agenda items, or any of the things. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. Because whether it's filibustering, canceling meetings that should happen with planning, whether it's filibustering in this room, whether it's hand-wringing in the back offices, there's always some gerrymandering with maps. You guys ended a moratorium on cannabis dispensaries and turned around and started one by making new red zones and green zones that excluded entire populations from participating. You issued an RFP, wasn't well circulated, wasn't well communicated. You went dark, you extended it, did it again. Here we are. No one's awarded. Marijuana from out of town comes in town untaxed. All the reasons why this program should have been tilted up and why we should have 1, 2, 3, or 4 licenses now, there's no action. Now, how many conditional use permits for liquor licenses have we issued at a gas station in that time? Why is it that that's such an easy conversation to have in these chambers? Get staff to stamp off, get council to vote, and we'd have to bring 100 people in here to even get it added to the agenda. There's other people here, maybe the other 100 will speak out on why it needs to move forward, but it needs to move forward where everybody has an opportunity to participate. Every city block, every commercial zoned building, everybody needs a shot at this. This is a war on drugs that's been going on for many, many years, and you guys restarted it right here in our neighborhood again.
Thank you, Matt.
Guy Stevenson.
Hi, Guy.
I have an issue with, of course, VIA. And I was telling your attorney right there that I was going to sue VIA, and I'm still probably going to do it. But the problem is, if I do it, I have to sue the city. And I don't want to sue the city. It's not really a city's problem. Though here's the problem. One, they don't address anything. They take kids and young adults to different events and stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to me on Christmas lighting when you guys had it out there. I was talking to a detective that just got promoted, actually last week, as a sergeant. I talked to him for 45 minutes. 15 people came up to me, at least that many, and said, you know what, stay on them because they're unsafe drivers. And then I told these people at night, you know, I have cataracts, so it's hard to see. I don't drive, so I take the VIA. This lady decides she wants to go through the construction site. Annihilated my phone, and then I called VIA, and because they're in New York, I have a problem with suing. So I had somebody on the other side of the bridge run the lady's name that drives for VIA, and she's on drug diversion. She got busted for crack cocaine, and it was a felony. They dropped it down, plea bargaining, and she's on drug diversion, but she's driving around these people and me and other people in those vans. That company, they're a fly-by-night. I have an issue with it, a big issue with it. And, you know, I've been talking to an attorney about it. I said that I've talked to New York, the people that run it out of New York. I've talked to this lady, I don't know what, she was with some beverage company that runs it now. She don't know nothing about that. And I think that if something happens, the liability is going to fall on you people. You guys need to do something about VIA. And that's why I'm here. You know, I've repeatedly told you these people are unsafe drivers. I've seen him over there in a Walmart parking lot smoking weed and then driving a van. But I have an issue with it because senior citizens ride in those and people's kids ride in those vans. And you got some idiots. You know how easy it is to get a job with VIA? Right there. You just go on their app, fill out an application, they do a soft background check, and because California only goes back 7 years, you don't know nothing about that person. So I run that lady's name, and she, like I said, she's on drug diversion out of Yellow County. So do I want those people driving a van service where they take high school kids and elderly people? Absolutely not. So I want you to look into it. And I don't care what these people upstairs say. I don't care. They don't know anything.
Thank you, Guy.
Kimberly Cargill, did you still want to speak on this item?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kimberly Cargile. West Sacramento is my hometown. I am a proud graduate of River City High School, and I'm also a medical cannabis patients' rights advocate and the CEO of a therapeutic alternative, a social equity dispensary in East Sacramento. I'm here tonight to request that you do not shut down the social equity program for cannabis retail here in West Sacramento. Instead, I propose an alternate solution of providing 2 social equity permits, one for each applicant that applied. I personally know both applicants, Richard and Alfred. I know that they are good people who do an excellent job providing for the community, and their lives speak for themselves. They are compassionate and work daily to make this world a better place, and I believe they would serve the citizens of West Sacramento very well. I was here at your swearing in. It was one of the proudest evenings in my life watching all you ladies get sworn in. I was so proud of West Sacramento. On another occasion, I was here when you decided to move forward with the Cannabis Social Equity Program, saying that you were going to do it right compared to so many cities in California who have done it wrong. Again, I was proud, very proud. Tonight, I find myself in a place I didn't expect to be, a place in opposition against what the city of West Sacramento is currently proposing. And, you know, I do believe that West Sacramento citizens have a right to safe medical access close to their homes. And I hope you can take some time to ponder this and put some more thought into it and come up with a solution that's best for the citizens of West Sacramento. With cannabis moving to Schedule 3, most likely this year, we have proven that cannabis does have medical value and citizens should have a right to safe access. So I appreciate everything you do for West Sacramento. Thank you. You guys are heroes. And please take some time to come at this from a perspective of what the citizens deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Brett Egbert.
Hello, Brett. Been here for a while.
Faithful, let me talk a little bit. Nice to meet everybody. Hope to come back. So first, I'd like to thank the people that helped me in the city. Stephanie Chan met with me around, so I don't know what I get to talk about. I'm gonna do my best. I'm schizophrenic, so ideas come and go. Thank you for your grace and patience. So Stephanie Chan met with me a couple times on VIA. He's faithful. Steve, guy work under her, super nice guy. Jennifer took a couple of my phone calls. Sandra took a couple of my phone calls. Left a message. City manager, Aaron, and Doug, I think. And then they got Mike call me back at home. So thank you. I love being a part of this city. I've been doing this 46 years now. I only left town long enough to get married and divorced. So I come back and look, I took a lot from this city, and I feel a certain kind of way about VIA. I feel a certain kind of way about drugs. I can't talk about that now. I get that. I'm trying to follow the rules these days. I come here today to talk about cigarettes, nicotine product. Like, so I remember hearing on NPR, I like NPR, and one of the city council members, can't say who, can't remember the name, memory's not that good, but she said, please don't call the city about potholes. I thought that was funny because I live here and I don't drive anymore, so it's even funnier, but nicotine products like a pothole, I like that to sink in. Nicotine products like a pothole. And like we know better now. This city's big enough and it's small enough and it's got you willing to look at things different. There are other cities, so Beverly Hills did this. No more nicotine in Beverly Hills. This is my Beverly Hills. And like I fell in that hole personally several times. And I got friends die behind that stuff. I think we can do that. I saw Lutheran pastor's kid over at Mercy Cool, and I had some of them vegetables. They're awesome. Mercy. You. But David, his name, pastor's kid, tell me you can. It may change my life. And I just want to share that with you folks. You can do this. And I don't know what my part is. I'm not sure. I try to stay in my lane. But I'm here till I'm not here anymore. And I'm just going to keep coming back. Whatever the process is, I'm willing to learn it. But I would like to partner with somebody. I'm not really fond of the word agenda because it didn't work out for me. But I'm willing to learn. And if you can help me find somebody in the city to work with, I'll do everything I can till the end of my days, see that nicotine's out of here and gone forever, evicted. I can't find a safe way to do that. And I think the time has come. Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you so much.
Richard Miller?
Hello, Richard.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Richard Miller. I am the co-owner of Stash. I'm here regarding the city's decision to rescind the Social Equity Cannabis RFP award that was granted to Stash. Social equity programs exist to repair the harm caused by the war on drugs. They are not meant to justify political favoritism or the bending of eligibility rules. A true commitment to equity requires honoring the process, the criteria, and the outcome when the outcome is reached fairly. After more than a year of good faith participation and after investing time and a substantial amount of capital, the city formally notified Stash on July 17, 2025 that we had been selected as the successful applicant in the final phase of the RFP process. We were invited to apply for a development agreement to the city's first medical cannabis retail storefront. Just 7 weeks later, the city would rescind that award. Without prior notice, without stated cause, or any justification, which is in total violation of state law. Apparently, at the urging of an unsuccessful applicant. Public records show that while Stash met every eligibility requirement, the city allowed a politically connected applicant to participate despite not meeting the income eligibility requirements and despite being rejected twice during the RFP process. Even after receiving repeating accommodations, rather than defend a fair and lawful outcome, the city reversed course and stripped Stash of its award. This is not equity. This is not transparency. And this is not justice. For over 30 years, I have been a medical cannabis patient advocate, working with legislature, educating patients, and caring for AIDS patients during the height of the epidemic. In that fight, I was arrested, injured, lost my home, lost my business, and custody of my nephew. This is exactly what social equity programs are meant to support and uphold, and that's why they exist. Stash does not seek prolonged litigation. We ask that the council reverse course, honor the original RFP award, and restore public trust by standing on fairness and not public patronage. I really do not want litigation in this matter, but you have left me no other option and no other recourse but to file suit if you do not reverse this. It's my hopes that we can come up with a solution so we can move this forward. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Richard.
Louise Ahern.
Hi, good evening. I have been a licensed cannabis user for the last 12 years, and that's when I first met Richard back in 2014. He spent a lot of time with me talking about ways to ease out of the medical conditions I've been going through and to find something that will work for me. I was tired of taking massive amount of medication, drugs, and I found that when I used this appropriately, cannabis, then I could wean off the other drugs. My goal was to only take an aspirin in life if I could. I was on 8 prescriptions. He's been a wonderful person in all this. He knows what he's doing. He cares about people immensely. And we sure need a dispensary in this little town. To go across the river to get something is sometimes not possible with all the road construction and things closed off. And going to Davis is about the opposite. That's the hassle to get there also. So it'd really be wonderful if we had one in our town, let alone the 50, 60,000 new people that'll be moving in when everything's built out in Southport Way. But we really do need this big time. For some of us, it's the thing that keeps us alive. Otherwise, we'd be jumping up bridges we don't have. But I would really like you to consider his application and all this and granting it. We really need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel Morrison.
Hello, Daniel.
Hello. Good evening, Council. My name is Daniel Morrison. I'm a 20-year Air Force veteran, recently retired as of last year.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. As I said, I recently retired. I'm also a father of 4 and a husband. I have served both stateside and overseas, and like many who served, I came home carrying things that don't fit neatly into a uniform: PTSD, chronic insomnia, anxiety, and a constant edge that made it hard to truly be present. For a long time, sleep was my enemy. Anxiety followed me everywhere. I did what I was told to do. I took the prescribed medications, Ambien, Klonopin, and others, because I wanted to continue to serve and provide for my family. But those medications didn't heal me, they numbed me. They took pieces of me away, even as they attempted to heal me. While I was serving, cannabis was not an option, not legally, not culturally, not at all. After I retired for the first time in 2 decades, I was allowed to make a legal choice for my own health, and I chose cannabis. Within the first year of retirement, with the help of cannabis, I've cut 2 psychiatric medications from my daily pill box. Still have many more, obviously. I fall asleep without shaking or crying, or worse, completely pass out due to barbiturate medications that continue to affect me well into the next day. I wake up now without being completely full of dread. My daily mood is stabilizing, and constant irritability is easing. Cannabis doesn't make me less responsible. It makes me more responsible. It made me calmer, more patient, more present, and more emotionally available. My family finally got the version of me they needed and the version they deserved. The one they didn't always get while I was serving. That matters, because that is public health. Next page. Here in West Sacramento, we talk a lot about safety, about families, about community well-being, and yet alcohol, an extremely destructive substance, is everywhere and normalized. Heading to Sacramento to pick up my cannabis through the street of West Capitol, I passed 4 stores designated as liquor stores, along with every grocery store and convenience store that has shelves fully stocked with alcohol. We see the consequences of having it readily available with DUIs, violence, addiction, and broken homes. Alcohol doesn't affect the drinker, doesn't only affect the drinker, it ripples throughout families and our communities and neighborhoods. Cannabis tells a different story. For many people, including myself, cannabis actually reduces alcohol use. Studies have and continue to show when cannabis is available, people often drink less or stop drinking entirely. That's not theory, that is a lived experience, my lived experience, and many others' lived experiences. West Sacramento needs safer alternatives, regulated access, education, and local oversight. Right now, residents already use cannabis. They're just forced to leave our city or rely on unregulated sources. That doesn't protect anyone. It encourages more illegal and illicit activities throughout our community. A local dispensary isn't about encouraging use. It's about acknowledging reality and choosing harm reduction over stigma. It's about veterans like me who are tired of being over-medicated, parents who want to be present, adults, tax-paying citizens. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Laura Mendez.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is Laura Mendez. I'm a longtime resident here in West Sacramento. I am also the CEO of Woodland Cannabis Dispensary. I've worked in the cannabis industry for nearly 20 years, operating retail storefronts throughout the Sacramento area. Tonight, I'm here speaking not just as a business owner, but as a resident and a cannabis advocate who truly cares about what happens in our city. As a community, we should be coming together to support our local residents. Unfortunately, that is not what I see happening with the decision to eliminate the Cannabis Equity Program. The purpose of this program was to give local individuals a fair opportunity, not to just apply, but to actually have a chance to follow through on their passion and building something meaningful in the cannabis industry. By taking this opportunity away and opening the program to everyone, we are not creating fairness, we are creating an uneven playing field. This only opens the door for large corporations and out-of-town operators while pushing local voices aside. Cannabis is not just about selling a product. For many people, it is medicine. It is about care, compassion, and improving quality of life. Local operators understand this because we are a part of the community we serve. West Sacramento has the opportunity to do better, to support its residents, to stand by the intent of equity, and to show other cities what it looks like when a community truly invests in its own people. Let's set that standard. Let's be the example of what this city can do when it chooses fairness, integrity, and community first. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Deanna Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff. Thank you for the opportunity to come up here and address you tonight. I was also here the night when City Council said, let's move forward with social equity for cannabis. Let's do it right. Let's make sure that we don't follow the other cities' footsteps in having a system that lets people down and doesn't actually turn out to be everything we want it to be. And you guys went through the process, and I was very proud that the city of West Sac was taking that step in and making sure that you guys did have equity here and that cannabis was an equity opportunity. And I understand that there was also going to be another process to follow after that was going to be an open market where there was going to be unlimited amount of dispensaries. And then as following the meetings along, then we decided not to go further with our cannabis project here. We decided that we were going to let the other cities continue on collecting our tax dollars. We were just going to scrap our program altogether, even though we spent time, energy, love, and effort into making the program. We just decided we weren't going to have it anymore. So I thought a fair solution would be for not only the city residents, but for city economics, is to have 2 cannabis social equity dispensaries and no other dispensaries. Our city is small. Our city is not a big territory, and 2 dispensaries would be just great, one on each side of the city to give everybody a local dispensary in their community to call their own, and you know, that way revenue's not split so thin where the businesses are hurting because there's a lot of cost and tax involved in running a cannabis dispensary. But 2 dispensaries, one for Richard and one for Alfred, and then no other dispensaries, no open free market where everybody is going to do so poorly that they're going to have to shut their doors, and not where the citizens who don't agree with cannabis is so upset because there's one on every corner and, just a nice, beautiful project like you guys were talking about, that it was something to be proud of here in West Sacramento, something that would bring revenue, bring support, bring education on the product, bring what the city really needs. And I think that would be a beautiful idea if we could go back to something such as that. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Christine Spurgeon.
Hello.
My name is Christine Spurgeon. I'm a lifetime resident of West Sacramento. I'm here to support the cannabis dispensary here in town. Currently, I'm a caretaker for my mother, and I need to access her medication. It's hard to go across the rivers, and sometimes the medication is not accessible. I know Richard personally. I know that he can provide clean, legal medication for my mother. I need that. I was very excited when I heard that there was going to be a dispensary here. I'm still excited. I have faith in the city that that will happen. I've seen a lot in this city, a lot. And I think a dispensary would help the homeless people. I think it would help the people that are on things they should not be on. I think it would help everyone. I mean, I think it's a great idea. And I just wonder why there's so many massage parlors up and not a dispensary. That's like, blows my mind. And I personally live next to a massage parlor, so it really blows my mind. So I hope that you guys reconsider a dispensary. I think it's good for our town. I think we need it. I think we need to move forward and quit being behind the times. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Christine.
Haley Moore.
Come back, Haley.
So I live here in West Sacramento. I also work in West Sacramento. And I'm here to support the equity program for cannabis dispensaries. I know dispensaries are inevitable in our city, and I believe we should have owners and operators of this unique business that are knowledgeable, experienced, and who are a part of the community.
Thank you.
Michael Hicks.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Michael Hicks, and I'm a resident of West Sacramento. I'm proud of the commitment and effort that you all put into serving our community. That said, I'm here today to speak about a matter where the outcome fell short and deserves careful reconsideration. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned, disappointed, and frankly baffled how the city handled the equity cannabis retail program. For more than 2 years, the city engaged public process. There were meetings, workshops, and opportunities for community input. Regulations were drafted, revised, and finalized. An application process was created, and equity applicants were encouraged to participate in good faith. Those applicants did exactly what the city asked of them. They spent thousands of dollars, they prepared extensive documentation, they secured landlords, negotiated leases, paid consultants, showed up for interviews. These applicants are equity applicants, people the program was specifically designed to uplift, residents who already face systematic barriers to opportunity. Then after all of that, the city selected an applicant, and instead of standing by the process it created, chose to rescind the entire program. What is most troubling is not only the decision itself, but how it was handled. The public was not notified, there was no transparent discussion, and 2 years of public involvement, the final most consequential decision was made without the community. That feels like betrayal of public trust. The city has said there was a loophole allowing the program to be closed at any time. Even if that is legally true, it does not make it right. Equity is not just a word in policy, it is a commitment, and commitments matter, especially when people are asked to invest their time, money, and hope based on the city's promises. It is also important to note this program was to be funded with the community development funds, money generated specifically for community benefit. Instead of being used to support equity, the result has been harm. I'm asking the council to reflect seriously on the message this sends. The equity applicants can be encouraged, invested in, and then discarded quietly when things become inconvenient. West Sacramento can and should do better. Transparency matters, accountability matters, and equity must mean more than good intentions on paper. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Alfred Melbourne, did you want to speak on this item still?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, guys. So definitely wanted to add some comments on the social equity cannabis program being canceled. I was quite surprised also to just have the rug pulled out from underneath our feet when we had participated in such a stringent process that, as folks before me have stated, it was very costly and time-consuming, and the different people that had to assist us. There's always barriers, but we overcame a lot of challenges, and then to be at a point where it seems as though the city has completely dropped the ball entirely when it comes to supporting, real equity in the city, and, thinking they could just, wash their hands of a process where, you had real hometown people here. I've met with Richard, and he's a really good person. He truly believes in the therapeutic medicines that, they can offer, and my biggest concern throughout this process was going to be like big money coming in and taking over. And I had participated since around 2019 when Sacramento had legalized cannabis, and knew that, I knew that at some point it would be coming this way, and then trying to, take a good opportunity and create something better for, our community, and allow the city to be able to, collect the revenue. And participating in the process, we thought that, there would be transparency, there would be, things worked out, and I remember that the council was very adamant that if there was going to be retail cannabis, that it would start with and only with a social equity program getting a head start. And then to, just throw the whole thing out the window once people have invested almost 2 years into the process, it just baffled me. And that why would the city want to take a chance at, litigation when the answer is pretty much sitting right in front of your guys' face to support the applicants that did rightfully meet all the qualifications and criteria up until when the application started changing and disqualifying people unjustly. So, but do feel that, at this point that the city should reconsider their plan and eliminating the program and go back to what the original plan was and support social equity applicants from this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred.
Justine Crawford.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Justine Crawford. I'm here to speak on behalf of Richard Miller and the Cannabis Equity Program. I am a longtime cannabis user, and the importance to me is in the therapeutics of cannabis. It's not just in the THC, it's in the CBN and the CBD, and the importance of having individuals who actually care about the city and their patients, like Richard Miller. And how this equity program was started seems to me like you guys were very much involved in wanting to see that type of person be involved in your community as a business owner. And now to me, it seems like that's not important. It's the almighty dollar. And as a patient, I would hope that you would put patients first and see us as important and not just what money you can get from some large outside corporation that doesn't care, that just wants to sell THC to a bunch of kids. So thank you. And I hope that you reconsider and put things back into place.
Thank you.
Andrew Crawford.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Here to speak on behalf of Richard Miller also. So I've known a few of the people in the cannabis industry in this community, just in the local city. So I was also disappointed to hear about the withdrawal, if you want to call it that, of the cannabis equity program or social equity program. I know that Richard and other people like him have put in a lot of their own time, hard work, money, everything just to meet the requirements of this program, just to see it pulled away from them so that they can no longer use it. I would strongly urge that you reconsider doing this. I don't want to see Richard and other people like him thrown into the same arena on equal footing with big businesses and corporations who can easily outnumber and outgun them. And I think that Richard, for one, would be a great small business owner for the city of West Sacramento. I know that he and others like him care a lot for the people in this community. They go to them because the patients go to them because they know them. So I think there's a lot of personal touch there that we'd be missing out on if we open the door to let big businesses just move in and take what they can. So that's my thought on the matter. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
We have no more requests to speak on this item.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, everybody, for showing up today. Next on the agenda, we do not have any public hearing agenda items, so we'll move to item 19 under our regular agenda, consideration of Resolution 26-9, approving exception to the 180-day period.
Madam Mayor, are we going to do the consent calendar?
Oh, so
Or the
sorry.
consent
Skip the
agenda?
consent. How do I skip? I'll accept a motion for agenda items 2 through 18.
So moved. I'll second.
Madam
This
Clerk?
is with the exception of number 11, which has been pulled from the agenda.
And with the exception of number 11, which has been pulled. Are there any requests to speak under, for public comment? Or
There are no requests to speak on any of these items.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Alcala moved, and Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall seconded.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. Right, this is approved. Now we move to item 19 under our regular agenda, consideration. We will pause for just a moment. We don't have a quorum.
Little
Little stretch break. Item 19 under a regular agenda is consideration of Resolution 26-9 approving exception to the 180-day waiting period to hire a CalPERS retired annuitant in accordance with Government Code Section 7522.56 and 21224. Mr. City Manager, who's going to present on this? Oh, hi.
Good evening.
Becky?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's been a while since I've been up here.
Yeah.
I am Becky Robertson. I am the city's finance manager. So tonight I am presenting Resolution 26-9, which would approve an exception to the 180-day waiting period typically required before hiring a retired annuitant as an extra help employee. So CalPERS regulations typically require a 180-day waiting period before the retired annuitant can return to work at a CalPERS agency. However, exceptions can be granted when it serves a critical operational need, but does require governing body approval through a resolution in a public meeting. So as detailed in the staff report, our procurement division in the finance department is currently operating at about 50% staffing level. As we had a critical employee in the division suffer a medical emergency that requires an extended leave. And of course, that happened shortly after we had retirement of our most tenured analyst, because, you know, timing is always great with those things. So due to the emergency, there has been a delay in our ability to recruit for the vacancy in that analyst role. Hiring Brenda Key as an extra help retired annuitant would allow us to continue to provide continuity of our operations while the division remains short-staffed, as well as provide a proper transfer of Brenda's knowledge and expertise through training of the new analyst once they are selected. The proposed arrangements complies with all of the CalPERS regulations regarding work hours and compensation limits for retired annuitants. So staff recommends that the City Council approve Resolution 26-9, and I am happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thank you, Becky. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
We have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, closing the public comment, bringing it back to council for any questions or motion.
No, happy to move.
Mayor Pro Tem Subbizio Ho moved and Councilmember Alcala seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hull?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. This item is approved. Next, under regular agenda, item 10 in the Finance Department is mid-year budget workshop and consideration of Resolution 26-11, adopting amendments to the operations and maintenance and capital improvement program budgets for fiscal year 25-26. And Becky, it looks like you're up again. Your lucky day.
I am up again. All right, so good evening again. Let's get the PowerPoint pulled up. All right. So once again, I am Becky Robertson, the finance manager with the city. Tonight, I am filling in at the last minute for Roberta. I did pull together a quick presentation to present the fiscal year 25-26 proposed mid-year budget for consideration. You have all received a very robust packet with all the detailed information regarding each of these requests. So hopefully tonight's presentation is going to be brief. You should have each also received a late errata. I will say, and I apologize up front, my slides were not able to be updated since that errata, but I do have the revised numbers that I will talk and update you with as we move through the slides. All right. There we go. All right, so starting with what are we asking for consideration tonight? So we are asking council for consideration and approval of Resolution 26-11. That a resolution is adopting the fiscal year 25-26 mid-year supplemental decision packages and CIP, as well as asking for approval of the authorized position list, salary schedule, and approval of the facilities supervisor job description. So as I mentioned, I'm hoping that tonight's presentation is going to be pretty brief. We will take a look at the general fund and one-time general fund, as well as the tax measure funds. In addition, we're going to look at the supplemental requests and the associated impacts of those requests at a very high level. And then, of course, review the recommended action once more. Starting with the general fund, So we expect revenues of about $87.1 million. With the fiscal year 25-26 budget, there are adopted general fund expenses of $86.4 million. That number does not include the items in the agenda report tonight. After the mid-year supplementals, if everything were to be adopted today, the total expenditure budget for the general fund would be $87.1 million. So this,
So the 87 includes all the ballot measures that, the sales tax?
no, this is just for the general fund. I'll have a separate slide for the tax measures.
Thank you.
This includes additional requests of about $650,000, with $500,000 of that being ongoing and about $150,000 being one time. Now, looking at the one-time general fund, prior to tonight's mid-year request, the expected one-time general fund balance was expected to be $5.1 million at the end of the fiscal year. After approving the mid-year supplemental request, the available fund balance would be $1.2 million. There are about $500,000 in one-time operations and maintenance requests and $3.4 million in CIP requests. Those CIP requests include $1.8 million for the Park Boulevard Class 2 bicycle land and crosswalk restriping project, and $900,000 for the Community Center North and South entrance enclosure design and construction project. So this slide provides a brief overview of the tax measure funds and their projected fund balances at the end of fiscal year 25-26 after the inclusion of tonight's supplemental request. So looking at Measure K, the expected ending fund balance would be $762,000. Requests for Measure K include $620,000 in CIP requests, which includes $400,000 for the Recreation Center lap pool heater replacement project and $220,000 for the Recreation Center fire safety project. The expected ending fund balance for Measure V is just over $7 million. The expected ending fund balance for Measure E is $23,000. Requests for Measure E items include $100,000 for operations and maintenance requests and $950,000 for CIP requests. Those CIP requests include funding of $500,000 for the Sacramento Avenue Complete Streets Corridor Improvement Plan and $350,000 for the Homeless Emergency Housing Program project. The expected ending fund balance for Measure N is $408,000, and there is about $110,000 in operations and maintenance ongoing requests. Now, ending with Measure O, the expected ending fund balance for Measure O is about $37,000. So with Measure O, Council has previously approved a 5-year spending plan where 15 months of revenue have already been programmed, in addition to a Measure V loan to fund some of the CIP projects. And so we knew that additional funding wasn't going to be available for new requests until next fiscal year. However, there is one funding swap included in tonight's item, and that's $1.4 million from the Fire Training Tower renovation project to a handful of priority public safety projects at fire stations 43, 44, and 45. Replacement funding for the tower renovation project is going to be requested with the fiscal year 26-27 budget. Now, looking at the supplemental requests by category. So this slide gives you a breakdown of the overall request by category. The total mid-year request overall is $24.5 million. Of that, $16.1 million is for CIP projects, with funding for those CIP projects coming from $4.9 million from the Bridge District IFD bond proceeds, $3.4 million from the one-time general fund, and $2.1 million from the sewer fund is kind of the top funding sources for those CIP projects. In addition, there is 5.7 in one-time O&M requests, or 5.7 million, let me specify, in one-time O&M requests, $165,000 for personnel, $322,000 for vehicles and equipment, $1.7 million for supplies and services, and about $570,000 in technology requests. So this next slide breaks down the mid-year supplemental request by funding source. You'll see a large amount coming from Measure G. This is largely due to a one-time transfer of property tax increment revenues to the Bridge District IFD and the EIFD for the upcoming debt service payments. In addition, you'll see a request of $4.9 million of the Bridge District IFD bond proceeds to fund eligible CIP requests within the Bridge District. Now looking at personnel requests, these requests include 3 new positions and 1 position upgrade, increasing the city's total full-time positions to just over 508 full-time employees. The 3 new positions include a facility supervisor in the Public Works Operations and Maintenance Department, an assistant/associate transportation engineer in the Community Development Department, and a finance specialist in the Homeless Services Program in the Economic Development and Housing Department. In addition, there is 1 position upgrade in the city manager's office requested, and that is to take a human resources technician 1-2 vacancy and upgrade that position to a human resources analyst 1-2. The total funding requested for these personnel requests is about $137,000. Now looking at the general fund reserve balances, at the end of the fiscal year, it is expected that the budget stabilization fund will have a balance just under $3 million. The general fund reserve balance would be about $15.2 million, which gets us to about 18% with no additional contributions from the general fund. And then the staffing continuity reserve would remain at $500,000. So that does conclude my presentation. Again, we're asking for approval on Resolution 26-11, which adopts the fiscal year 25-26 mid-year supplemental request and approves the authorized position list, the salary schedule, and the facilities supervisor job description. And at this point, I would love to open it up to any questions that the council may have.
Hey, Becky, I just want to point out, in case it wasn't clear, there's a errata memo that has several changes to the budget materials that should be in front of you as well.
Thank you, Becky. I do have a question. I've been waiting for a full budget since I've been mayor. Is that coming anytime soon?
It is. So we were able to fill one of our vacant budget analyst positions recently, and so that is one of the key projects that she is working on. And we have also contracted with a consultant who specializes in the finance sector, public finance sector specifically, to help with her to get this completed and get the new budget system up and ready. I did touch base with Roberta, and it sounds like with the next fiscal year 26-27, they will have a budget book. It may not be as robust as what they hope the final one will be, but they should have that shortly after.
Okay, I'm not satisfied. It's told that it was going to happen, and I feel like we keep hearing that we don't have a full budget.
Yeah, we have had quite a few vacancies in our department that has unfortunately slowed down the process. The last person overseeing the forward movement and the new budget system is no longer with the city, and so that did cause a little bit of a pause because at the same time we were also moving forward with the Measure O budget. But now that we have a position filled plus a consultant, we're hoping to see a lot of forward progress on the new budget system.
Yes, I would like to prioritize that, please.
Yep.
I don't know if any council would approve not having a full.
We have a whole budget. I think just to clarify, your request is about having a budget book, correct?
A budget book.
Yes, that's,
Yes.
yeah, the budget, I just want to be clear for the public, the budget is, a full budget. It's in good shape. It's in the system. We used to have, and I know this has been a request that you've made several times over the last few years, a budget book that was published every year. I think on staff, we always kind of looked at it as, yes, it was published, but was it very user-friendly? So I think part of the effort that finance has been going through is to find the right kind of presentation for that information. And so it is forthcoming. I know it's frustrating that it's not something that we haven't had in the last couple budget cycles, but it's something that we understand is a priority for you, Mayor, and we'll definitely stay on that.
Right, 5 years, going on 6. Councilmember Alcala.
Real quick, so when we do get it, it's going to be put on the website for the public to see.
Yes, yes, it will be placed on the city's website.
I also, Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
I'm trying to find something and you can keep going until
Okay.
I pull.
I do notice a lot of investments along the riverfront, you know, signs, things like that. I would like to see in the future budget more investments in the Brighton Broderick area. I've noticed a lot of missing street signs, ditches, you know, you can't drive even, like, you really have to slow down or your car's gonna get smashed, you know, up from the bottom. I'd like to see more investments in the Brighton Broderick area in a future budget, in the next budget. I'm sure Councilmember Alcala and her friends can go with cameras, take pictures, and bring them back.
They have.
I'm sure you get lots of emails. Yeah, and I appreciate the recommendations on some of the, you know, the aesthetics. It's along the riverfront. It's where we have a lot of traffic and things like that. I do appreciate that, but I also want to see it citywide.
So I can't seem to find in attachment 4, the respite center. If somebody quickly knows the page number, have request for $500,000 for the respite center.
So that was included in the errata. It was removed
did that get pulled
from
out?
tonight's item, correct?
Yeah, and on that one, it was in the errata, it'll just show that there were a couple of projects that we pulled from the budget request for tonight. Just want to give a little bit more background on each of those. The respite center is a concept that has been sort of in the early phases of being built out by staff as a potential option in the overall program of our response to homelessness. The basic idea is it would be a place where during the daytime, homeless individuals could go to not be on the street. There's a lot of details that still need to be worked out with that. I know there's some concerns, at least some of the council has expressed leading up to this, but also at the staff level, there's still a lot of work to do before we're fully ready to present what it would actually be. And so what I'd suggest on that one is we'll bring it back at a future meeting, probably in the context of a larger topic concerning homelessness in general, and give the council more information and potentially a budget request at that time. The other item is having to do with the southern extent of the Clarksburg Trail. This one is simply we need more time to figure out the right funding source for it. We had a different source in the budget that was inadvertently put in as the request, but having looked further at it, we understand that's not really the right place for that funding to go. So it'll be back, but we need to figure out a different funding source. And I did want to just respond, Mayor, to your comment about the concern around street signs. That is something that we absolutely want to hear about. If there's missing street signs or ones that are in disrepair, one of the benefits of Measure O, particularly with having the new road crew being formed, is that is a really primary task for that group. It's not just about filling potholes, but it's also about replacing aging signs or missing signs. So please, do tell all your friends, make sure that those are reported to us so we can be on those to replace. It doesn't have to be a annual budget request to get that kind of work done.
I actually sent in time today.
That's great. I would say that the Brighton Broderick community, in my experience, interacting to get them to be more engaged in activities, it's a lot more word of mouth. It's not like social media or, West Connect kind of use. It's there's a way to phone it in or maybe email, but they have a lot more traditional ways of connecting. So if there's a way to publicize a more easy way to report things, I don't know, Councilmember Alcala, what do you suggest?
Well, always reaching out to those hubs, churches.
Churches, that's right. The churches are good. There's Bright, the one on Sacramento Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
They could be, really good and helpful. And especially in their language. There's multiple languages in there. So yeah, it's a good idea. think that's it for me. But by the way, this homeless emergency housing program, I think that 500,000 for the so this was, is this what you were?
It was the respite
That's the respite center.
on West Capitol Avenue. I had it, I didn't put a tag on my binder. I started and I'm having to.
I know, I need tags too. So the respite center is in this, yeah, I see another homeless item. pretty
Yeah,
much the
there
same
are
amount.
actually two. The other one has to do, I believe, with the operations of the existing hotel programs.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I see.
Yeah, so the
CIP.
500,000 line item for the respite center was just kind of a ballpark starting point for allowing the staff to explore, the potential site, how it would function, how it would be designed. We want to take a little more time to look at those issues and kind of all things considered, including what the true budget impact would be, and then we would return to council potentially with that proposal at a later date.
Okay, so then this memo is still moving forward in addition to, it's an amendment to what's in the,
Correct.
okay, good. Glad. So we would have to, in the motion, mention those changes?
Yeah, just the motion would be the recommended action, including the errata.
Including the errata, okay. All right, whoever makes the motion. You don't have any more. Okay.
We have a request to speak on this item.
Oh, we do, sorry, yes. Thank you so much.
Patrick Markham.
Hello, sorry, we just jumped right over that.
Problem. Good evening, Mayor Guerrero and council members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm here speaking on the item that was removed, item 1406. And just briefly, I'm not going to take a lot of your time on it, but basically what I represent landowners that have owned and farmed the land through which the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail extension is proposed to go through, and it's going to bisect their land. They've owned and farmed that land for 150 years. And the reason I'm here speaking to you tonight, since you pulled the matter from the agenda, and we really don't have anything to talk about, is one of the efforts that I've been putting out there, and it really just kind of goes along with what we're trying to do. All my clients have ever asked to do is to be treated fairly in this matter. And it's very, very important because of the farming practices with these farms that have provided jobs and food for this community, like I said, for a century and a half, that at least with respect to the bike trail, that the alternatives be considered, if there is one, and if there isn't an alternative, that mitigation be considered to reduce the impact on the project on my client. With that in mind, one of the things that I'm really, really having a difficult time with, and the reason I'm addressing you now, is working with planning staff and the transportation staff, because they're taking this approach that they've got 80 feet and they're just going to take it whether they need it or not. The bike trail, based on the city documents, or the county documents, or no, it's city documents, excuse me, requires about 20 feet. And in this item, when this came up and we didn't even know it was in the agenda, when I looked at it, one of the things that really struck me was, again, just an example of how we're being treated, is there was an NOE that went out in February of 25. The NOE really didn't address our project. We didn't know about it for 5 months. We finally realized that this NOE had been filed with the county. We contacted Mr. Mitchell and we contacted staff and said, hey guys, you're not going to really rely on this, are you? And they say, yeah, no, we're not relying on this project. Well, then you get a budget report that says, in fact, yes, they are relying on it on this project. And if we hadn't word searched this and found it on page 857 of 957 and found it on this Sunday night and realized it was there, I wouldn't even know that this matter was being discussed. I did speak to Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Mitchell indicated that it was, I guess it was a mistake, and I appreciated that. I've worked with Jeff for years, and anyway, just in conclusion, please ask staff just to treat us fairly. One of the things that we are going to ask to do is to sit down at a workshop type situation
Your
and try
time
to
is
talk
up.
about
Thank you so much.
it. Okay? Thanks for your time. I appreciate
you.
it.
We have no additional requests to speak on this item.
Thank you. You ready?
I'll move to approve with the errata memo.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall moved with the errata memo, and Councilmember Alcala seconded.
Councilmember Ocala?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. All right, thank you so much, Becky. All right, next under General Administration, Function Part 2, do we have any reports from our council assignments? No. Okay, council calendars.
Hi, good evening. Just a reminder that tomorrow is a ribbon cutting for the State Streets Road Rehabilitation Project, and that's at 1509 Alhambra Avenue at 10 a.m.
All right, thank you. City manager report.
Just looking ahead, and hopefully the council has all been contacted and had an opportunity to interview with your strategic planning consultant. So that's coming up, where staff is very much looking forward to that annual process, and you'll be receiving your materials for it. Yeah, we're saying hopefully next week, but
All right.
we'll do our best to get you them in advance. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. City attorney report.
Nothing to report.
Future and all that was been done. All right, and no staff direction. All right, meeting is adjourned. Good night, everybody.